The fourth issue of the Rippazine has been released by the Rippaverse, and I am here to give you my review of it and tell you what I thought of the story. So sit back, relax, and welcome to Studio Jake. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the Studio Jake vidcast, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you want to support me in the work that I do, head on over to my new website, studiojakemedia.substack.com. The link is in the description of the video. It's where you can support me at different tiers, and different tiers unlock different perks. All right, and here we are, and I'm going to be talking about Rippazine issue 4, like I said in my intro, and per tradition, I'm going to read off my review of the comic from my Substack, and then I'm going to elaborate on those thoughts. The Rippaverse released the fourth issue of their anthology series, Rippazine. We have original stories, advice columns, and previews for their comics. Listed below are the Great War of Separation. It rages on as Exeps enter the fray. Zalem decides to return to his home planet despite what he might find. Yaira experiences more pain and betrayal. Meanwhile, the Horseman rides again. As an aside, those are references to the Great War of Separation issue 2, Zalen, What Kills Must Die, Yaira number 3, and the Horseman's solo story issue 1. Going back to the review, in Catch and Kill, intrepid journalist Valiant Winslow is tracking a story about a company called Aztec, where homeless veterans seem to disappear. His boss partners him with photographer Betty Brooke. Val and Betty find that they have good chemistry in more ways than one, but their story is more dangerous than they thought. Yaira artists Deborah Carita and writers for the upcoming Saints and Sinner release are all interviewed. It was fun reading their perspectives, plus learning some drawing techniques from Carita. That is excellent. I also like the in-universe articles. The advice column from Michael Copper and the gossip page from Lillian Ronashi are always fun, but the Norfolka interview was the best. It goes without saying, but the main story is the winner here. It is written by Jen and Sylvia Soska, with artwork by illustrator Sebastian Garcia and colorist Joe Canola. I have to admit, it is a little odd reading about journalists who actually have integrity. However, the Soska sisters are the dream team when it comes to crafting these unique tells. Whether they be horror, action, or thrillers, they have it made. And that is so true. The Rippazine is really coming together very well. Whenever I first heard that they were doing this, I was kind of like, I wonder how this is going to play out. But it has given us some really cool characters. Of course, we have the PIs like Salvage, like Saoirse, and Dirty Deeds. Who could forget Dirty Deeds? But of course, Catch and Kill. Where it goes with the others, I think Saoirse is still maybe my favorite, but I still really enjoyed it. It is really cool to see a reporter who actually wants to report the news and not tell you how to think about a story. Winslow Valiant, who is pictured here with Betty Brooke, who's the photographer of the story, the two of them are very well-written characters. The Soska sisters are, not for nothing, very well at developing these sort of unique characters with unique motivations and what they want to accomplish. I would also like to say I love this cover that features the two of them. This is an astounding cover. This is, of course, the collector's edition. I always get the collector's edition of the Rippazine, and no different here. I would love to see them in some sort of solo situation, maybe a one-shot comic, kind of what they did with the Horseman. Remember, he was originally in The Horseman Welcome to Flores Park before he got spun off to his own solo series, and I think that they could do something here with the Catch and Kill characters. Maybe they do an extended edition of the story that's in here, or they do an immediate follow-up and also explore, because one of the things with the newspaper that Valiant works at is there's a rival newspaper that's actually backed by Michael Copper that always scoops up their stories. That's why it's called Catch and Kill. So they will sometimes do a story, but then Michael Copper will use his powers and influence to steal the stories or to lock them down. But then, of course, Michael Copper's newspaper doesn't run it. And that is what comes in with this. And I really would like to see like that expanded on in the story. One of the things too I like about Betty Brooke is she is very modest in how she dresses in this story, but she doesn't look less feminine. That's something that always kind of annoys me is, for instance, Captain Marvel. Sometimes a Marvel comics will design her with a full costume, which is very different from how she looked in the 90s. Remember, she kind of wore a typical sort of bathing suit style superhero costume, very similar to Wonder Woman's. But then for a while, or even up till now, they have her wear like a full uniform. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm always for more modesty, but they always draw her very androgynously. So when she's in the costume, you can't tell if she's a man or a woman. But with Betty Brooke, she definitely looks like a woman. It is very well designed and looks great. I really liked all the prequels in this. And I really liked all the previews in this. Now, I own all of those comics, but it is still cool. That is what the Rippazine is all about. It is to give you more insight into what's going on behind the scenes at the Rippaverse. And there is a lot going on, let me tell you. I cannot wait to see what happens, how this evolves. I am curious if some of these solo characters that were introduced in the Rippazine, if they're going to get full comics. I would really like to see how all of them, not just Winslow, Valiant, and Betty Brooke, I would really love to see how those characters develop as well, because I think that they would be good for this. Also, Rippaverse, where's Gooding #2? I would really like to see Gooding the Polymath get a second issue. I am waiting with bated breath for that. But anyway, yeah, the Rippazine issue 4 is a total winner. It is excellent. You're going to have a good time with it. You're going to love all the side pieces, all of the interviews, all of the exclusives, and of course, you're going to love the main story of it, Catch and Kill. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment to what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell to get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you want to support me and the work that I do, head on over to my website. The link is in the description of the video. It's studiojakemedia.substack.com. You can subscribe at different tiers that unlock different perks, including being able to choose the topic for the website or here on the vidcast. So that's a pretty good perk. So if you decide to do that, thank you in advance. At that website, there's a conveniently titled Buy My Book section. It's where you can pick up one or all 4 of my novels. There's links all over the place, but you can find them all on Amazon.com. Be sure to pick them up, leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, right here on Studio Jake.
'Cause I've been living life right like I